Hello everyone, Jeff from RespawnStudios.com, back with part 8 out of 10 for my full Alan Wake American Nightmare playthrough. We are in the area to secure the primary pipe. Like an idiot, I just ran past it, so I have to run back in. And this is where we're about to pick up a story-related achievement. There we go, cool it. So this is the second time we have to turn on those coolant pipes to help with the telescope. And of course now we're going to be attacked. Just as we read about in that one manuscript page, these cars are going to break through the fence and we're going to be attacked. So if you haven't been able to pick up on the pattern of the game, we are now repeating the same events that we did in our first run through of these 3 areas. But when we got to the last area and put in what we knew of the signal, we only had bits and pieces of it. So now we are trying to do things better and more efficiently to try and get more of the signal, so we can hopefully defeat Mr. Scratch when we get to the drive-in. So that's what we're working toward. So that's the cycle of the game we're in. Oh, and here I'm classic idiot. I was like, okay, so I just go around here. When it's like lit up on the map where you have to go. Well, not on the map, I should say, but there are 3 big lights going up the hill showing you like where to go. Right there, to my left. You probably see them. All the safe havens. You're supposed to have just gone right there. But instead I'm looking for alternate ways. It was much, much easier than I thought it was. They burn out as you get there, but again, their function is to, I guess, just light your path, show you where to go. So now we're trying to get back inside, to get back to Dr. Meadows. And if you remember from the first time, this is probably when we're going to be attacked by some Taken inside, coming out from underneath that little lift up to look at the telescope or to repair the telescope. Alright, so as per the style of the walkthrough I've been going for, I guess I'm going to cut out and let you just enjoy some gameplay. Hopefully you remember what to do. There's nothing like new or crazy that's going to happen here, so alright, I'll come back in a couple minutes.
Find the signal?
Yes. I don't think it's quite the same thing we had, the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though. If you don't mind.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story. I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another dimension kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife. But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages. Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think. It can be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can, for lack of a better word, rewrite reality, change things,
That's absurd.
but it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you imply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something exceedingly strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is ridiculous. You're essentially saying you're controlling my actions. Leaving aside the rational arguments against this, what gives you the right?
Well, it's more like having a destiny. A path you're on. You're not aware of it, but there it is. If somebody changes it, what difference does it make? It's what every writer does. If you write something that affects one of the characters, they don't really know about that.
I'm not a character. Are you saying that it's all right to take advantage of someone if they aren't aware of it?
Look, all I meant was that if you're genuinely making all your own decisions, and those decisions lead to whatever destiny you have, what practical difference does it make?
I suppose that depends on whether our destinies are determined by things like physics and probabilities, or natural reality, which is presumably neutral and impartial, or by some kind of an intelligence. If it's the latter, that intelligence makes choices based on some criteria. If we suffer as a result of those choices, there's a moral and ethical element involved, regardless of whether we're aware of its manipulations. Wouldn't you agree?
You're taking this very well. I thought you'd be hangry.
I suppose I would be if I thought you could actually do this.
Another printout. Another signal fragment. The message is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness. The last time the man came to the drive-in, it did not
Alright, so we have now made it back to the theater.
avoid fate this time.
So let's see if we now have enough of the signal to be able to
Is enough.
at least weaken Mr. Scratch. We could fight him, if not kill him. And we still have that sort of mystery hanging over our head of what was Alice's movie that she apparently made about you. Here's another manuscript page. Once I finish up my general walkthrough about the whole game, I'm going to do a manuscript pages walkthrough. And again, I only picked up I think 40 of the 53 during this playthrough, so even if you followed everywhere I went and picked them up, we're still going to need some more. So I'm going to do, I think, 28 pages in part 1 and 25 in part 2, or vice versa, 25 and 28, but we'll see.
What you define may become reality, but so can that which you imply, even if you don't realize you're doing so. God.
Alright, so now we're going back in to see the possessed woman, who apparently likes being roughed up by Mr. Scratch,
You want to hold me down? It's okay.
as she's been brainwashed.
Yeah, I'll just grab the keys.
I could be like your wife, little wifey, waiting at home for hubby. Or you could be the mailman, or the neighbor.
There's a lot of plaid and striped shirts in this world. In the first game and this.
Look, I may
I'm not saying it's a problem, those shirts are fine, but it's just something kind of weird.
the power is on.
You should totally come see me. We could have fun. You know.
We'll see how it goes. You should sit down or something.
Alright, so here's more of the optional conversation bits where you could hit B to keep talking.
I'm gonna be nasty with you.
Bunch of flares on the chair.
Anything you
Always useful. especially useful to combat those dark fountains, the taken fountains that spring up when you're trying to get into the projection room, which we dealt with the first time. You could just run up and use a flare instead of having to fight enemies and try and shine the flashlight. And just like the TVs, each of the times you return to these areas, you could reuse them, and it'll be something different. So it's not the same little Mr. Scratch thing every time on the TV, and it's not the same radio broadcast. It's different each time. So if you want to hear some little extra bits, be sure to always go to them. I think this is where they're introducing one of their songs. I'm not sure. I don't know if I stay here the whole time. Probably because I'm talking over it. And when I'm recording narration, I can't hear the game volume. But again, we have picked up the key to the generator area, and we're going to have to go restore power using that same very light puzzle system where there are the 3 blinking lights, and when you see which ones are green, then you activate those, and we're done. So again, hopefully that lets you know what we're about to do, and I'm going to cut out, let you just watch, and I'll come back in a couple minutes.
Could it be that such is life in Night Springs?
Dude, what?
Food for thought, Ricky. Food for thought.
Are you getting it yet, genius? I have changed. I know who I am now. I know that I can write my own fate. Bright Falls taught me that. I know that indulging my weaknesses, giving in to fear and complacency will only drag me down. The Dark Place taught me that. I'm no Zen master. I've not attained enlightenment. But I have learned to let go of the things that I don't need. I know that without that balance within, I become my own worst enemy. Now I strive for equilibrium, and with that, I'm strong enough to get where I want. It's obvious that for all his power, Mr. is an agent of another greater being. The dark place he came from is full of terrible alien intelligences, dark presences, and none of them should be let loose in our world. He serves one of them. He'll open the way for them if I don't stop him. But he'll do more. He'll take over my life. He already has my face. He already uses my name. He'll become Alan Wake in every way imaginable and corrupt everything, unless I can stop him.
Like a little hamster in a wheel. Go ahead and keep running for all the good it'll do you.
For Serena Valdivia, burning the midnight oil was more of an exception than a rule. A procrastinator and a perfectionist, she often worked when she wouldn't be disturbed. Tonight was especially important. The film festival would open tomorrow, and there was still so much to sort out. It wasn't that the work hadn't been done. She just didn't feel like she had completely mastered everything yet.
All right, so we have just finished that little, I guess you could call it puzzle. It's just looking up and then activating them. And now we are being attacked by the lovely, annoying as hell spiders. You can't just run past them. But they usually piss me off enough where I want to kill them. And if you want to be stupid like me, you could also just run into the electricity. It won't kill you, but it does do damage. So I'm going to run to this safe haven to restore my health real quick. And we're going to have to, again, repeat the same pattern as last time, coming back via this side. You just wait for the electricity to go off and then run through. And again, we're going to have to go back to the projector building, but once more, yet again, there's going to be the darkness fountains. We can't just walk right in.
The dark place is utterly hostile.
So be sure to try and have some flares or flare gun ammo prepared. Don't use it on any enemies coming up. Here's another manuscript page. And like I think a couple parts of this walkthrough so far, we are going to end with a TV. So I'll just let you watch and enjoy them because they're amazing. And then I will see you for part 9. So we are, again, just returning to the projector room. We have to take care of the darkness fountains. So try and use your flares or flare guns. And another little tip, if you haven't realized it on your own, if you destroy the 3 parts of each of the darkness fountains, like those 3 things sticking out of the ground, any of the enemies that spawned from it instantly die. So you don't have to worry about then killing the enemies or worry about them hitting you as you're finishing up destroying it, because then they'll be gone. Alright, so I'm going to cut out, and I will see you for part 9, hopefully later today. Thanks for watching.
I want to talk about Alice. Just look at her. She's really beautiful, isn't she? Your wife. Well, our wife, really. Just my wife soon. Don't worry. I'm not gonna treat her like the others. She's special. If I wanted her dead, she would be. I've been around for a while now. So talented. You haven't seen her new work, of course. Oh, it takes my breath away. Really, she's that good. Did you know that I've got a wedding ring, too? We're that similar. She's seen me a couple times, you know. I've let her catch glimpses. She thinks she's imagining things, of course. She thinks you're dead. It might as well be. I mean, even if you manage to keep surviving, you'll be in my trap forever. So I'll go to her. It'll be an amazing moment. Oh my God, you're alive. I'll be the good, loving husband for as long as I can stand it. She'll love it. And then, one day, somehow, it'll happen. Maybe I'll slip up, she spots something, or maybe she just starts running her mouth. And then, I'll do it. It's gonna be sweet.